Water. Earth. Fire. Air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Only the Avatar, master of all four elements, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. 100 years passed, and my brother Sokka and I discovered the new Avatar, an airbender named Aang. Although his airbending skills were great, he had a lot to learn before he was ready to save anyone. But from the day I first met him, I believed Aang would save the world. And you know what? I was right. With the help of his friends, Aang defeated Fire Lord Ozai and ended the 100-Year War. Zuko, Ozai's son and our ally, became the new Fire Lord. But although the battle has ended, the fight has only begun.
It took nearly a year of rest to recover my health. In that time, I was haunted by the same fitful dream every night. Only it wasn't a dream. It really happened, and I can never forget.
Prince Zuko, you have shown yourself to be unworthy of the crown and unfit to stand upon the land of our noble ancestors.
Nephew, please, you aren't well.
You are therefore stripped of your birthright and banished from the Fire Nation until you can prove your worth.
I'll decide if I'm well or not!
An Agni Kai duel? You're sure? But he's barely more than a child.
The Fire Lord challenged him. He couldn't very well refuse.
Can you imagine? Disowned and shamed in front of the entire courts? It seems so cruel.
Shh, don't let the guards hear you talking like that.
Has he ever even been outside the Fire Nation? Or the capital?
He won't last a month in the colonies.
That poor boy. I know we should trust in the Fire Lord's wisdom. But how could anyone do such a thing to their own son?
Father!
Hello, Zuzu.
What are you doing here, Azula?
I thought I'd help my dear brother pack. I wouldn't want you to forget anything important. After all, who knows how long you'll be gone.
I'll be back as soon as I find the Avatar. Then he'll...
Then, Father will welcome me home.
Well, I suppose the Avatar's only been missing for 100 years. Maybe you'll track him down in 50.
I'll find him. You'll see.
Of course you will. I'm sure that when they march you down to the docks, you'll be able to bribe some fishermen into giving you a ride. Maybe they'll even give you a job washing down the deck. I've heard that peasants have a soft spot for orphans.
Get out!
The guards will be here to get you in an hour. Better finish packing.
Are none of you brave enough to join my search for the Avatar? The Fire Lord himself sent me on this quest. You should be honored to be asked to join me.
Quest? More like a fool's errand.
The Avatar's long dead, kid. You'd be better off hiding out in the colonies.
I am honor-bound to bring the Avatar to my father! I will not turn my back on the task he's given to me!
We aren't heartless, son. We'd help you if we could. But if we sail with the banished prince, We're as good as banished ourselves.
When I regain my honor, all who helped me will serve in the royal court by my side. Your bravery will be rewarded.
Nothing brave about lying to yourself. Everyone knows the Avatar's gone. Your own great-grandfather Sozin killed him.
Maybe Ozai is just trying to get rid of you.
You don't know anything! The Avatar is still out there, and I will find him! I'll show all of you how wrong you are!
All right, kid, I think that's enough recruiting for one night.
Don't touch me, you filthy peasant! Don't you know who I am? I'm the Prince of the Fire Nation, son of Ursa and Ozai, and heir to the throne!
Yesterday, maybe. Not anymore.
You can't treat me this way! I'm the Prince of the Fire Nation. I had never been so ashamed. And I had never been so alone.
You will learn respect, and suffering will be your teacher.
No! Please, Father, I beg of you!
Only the weak beg. I will not have a coward for a son.
Zuko. You look terrible. I got your message, along with half the palace staff. Hardly subtle talking to an Imperial guard that way. I'm risking a lot to come and speak to you.
I wouldn't have asked if I had any choice.
So what do you want?
I can't stay in the capital. I have to leave to find the Avatar. But I don't have a ship or any way to hire one. And I thought, Father's always preferred you. You can ask for things that I can't.
I'll see what I can do, but you'll have to pay for any favors.
I know.
You should change those bandages more often. You'll lose that eye otherwise.
Azula sent me a message the next day. She told me she'd spoken to Father and convinced him to recommission a ship for me to use. But there was one condition.
Nephew!
Ever since he abandoned the siege of Ba Sing Se, Uncle Iroh had been nothing but a nuisance at the palace and an embarrassment to the court. I was the only one in our family who still spoke to him.
It is good to see you again. I was worried.
And now, to earn this favor from my father, I would have to take him with me.
Uncle, I'm fine!
Of course, of course. Now, come. The others are waiting on us.
Others?
I may no longer be a general, but the Dragon of the West still has some pull. Lieutenant G served with me at Ba Sing Se, and has made all the arrangements for the rest of the crew. Loyal, honest men whose fortunes no longer lie here in the capital.
A crew of failures, then.
I prefer to see myself as a man in search of new beginnings. And so should you, Prince Zuko.
I'm in search of the Avatar. That's all that matters.
If one is cooped up in the palace for too long, one's spirit becomes withered and weak. The fresh ocean air will do us both a world of good.
I know I should have been grateful. I could never have put a crew together on my own. But I hated how badly I needed his help. My father called Uncle a doddering old failure, but G and his men treated him like a hero. They acted like I wasn't even there. I swore that I'd show them that I was worth noticing. I would prove that I could do this on my own. My ship departed with little fanfare, and as we passed the great gates of Azulon and left the city behind us, I tried not to think about how long it would be before I saw it again. Or if I ever would.
Lieutenant! Set a course for the Western Air Temple! That's where we'll start.
What a stunning view!
The only view I'm interested in seeing is the Avatar in chains. First, we'll check each of the air temples, then we'll scour the world, searching even the most remote locations until we find him.
Prince Zuko, it's only been a week since your banishment. You should take some time to heal and rest.
What else would I expect to hear from the laziest man in the Fire Nation? The only way to regain my honor is to find the Avatar. So I will.
I will not presume to tell you how to conduct your search, nephew. But you were told very little about the Avatar when you were a boy. Perhaps if you knew more about the lives he has already led, you would have a clear picture of what you are searching for.
How many 100-year-old airbenders do you think there are? I know enough.
The previous Avatar, Roku, lived at the Fire Temple on Crescent Island for several years. The sages there know more about him than anyone else in the world.
That island is weeks off course!
But going may save you years of fruitless effort. It cannot hurt to ask.
Fine. If it'll keep you from nagging me.
I only nag because I care, nephew.
My name is Shu. I'm sorry that the great sage wasn't able to greet you himself, but I would be honored to help you learn about the Avatar. My own grandfather, Kaja, was a fire sage who taught Avatar Roku during his stay in this temple. He kept careful records of Roku's life and work, from the day he was announced to the day he died. It was once a duty of the fire sages to preserve the history of the Avatar cycle. The scrolls in our archives go back thousands of years. I spend as much time as I can spare in this library, recopying the scrolls as they deteriorate so that the knowledge within them will survive. You can use my desk while you're here. We haven't had an Avatar scholar visit in decades, at least.
It wasn't a complete waste of time. Some of what I found in that library could even be called useful. Avatar Yang Chen built a hermitage near the Eastern Air Temple and spent her later years there in seclusion. Avatar Kyoshi lived for 230 years, much older than the current Avatar would be. Most valuable of all were the tests, ways you could tell for sure if someone was the Avatar or not. But the majority of it was dry, dusty knowledge about people who had died hundreds of years ago, wars and treaties between kingdoms that no longer existed, endless lists of births and deaths and marriages. The rest was outdated philosophy about keeping the nations in balance and maintaining a connection with the spirit world. Dull at best and outright traitorous at worst. My mind wandered.
Impressive. I demand that you teach me to fight like that.
You demand? You are in no position to demand anything, Prince Zuko. Fire Lord Ozai banished you from the Fire Nation, and we will honor his will above all else. Shu convinced me to take pity on you, so I have tolerated your dishonored presence for this long. But I will not tolerate interruption of our duties. Besides, you've already been marked by a fire-bending master. You don't need another reminder of your weakness.
I was tired of pity and tired of being taken care of. Tired of living in the shadow of my sister. Tired of being a disappointment to my father. I wanted so badly to be strong.
Nephew, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I believe Fire Sage Shu is looking for you.
You didn't have to do that! I would have been fine!
The wounds have not entirely healed. Now is not the time to push yourself in this way. Be patient, Prince Zuko. When you are ready, I will teach you the more advanced fire-bending forms myself.
I don't want to learn anything from you! I've had enough of this place.
It's Zuko.
We leave before sunset and form the crew.